What's up YouTube, this is Harvey 1997 here coming at you today with a deck profile. Yeah, that's right, your eyes are not deceiving you. Aliens in 2016. They got one new support card, it's right here, A cell recombination device. And most people, including myself, were like, wow, is that really, you can really call that support? It's not that good. And I'll admit, I was skeptical at first, but it adds so much to this deck. This deck is so complete with new cards from the past couple of years. So let's go over the deck profile. So starting off, we have 3 Alien Shock Trooper. He's a vanilla, and he has the highest attack of the aliens. The fact that he's a normal monster is very, very crucial. Let's just keep that in mind. You gotta play 3 of him. He's so good. You play 1 copy of Alien Telepath. His effect is once per turn you can remove an A counter from an opponent's monster to destroy 1 spell or trap. And he also adds the effect where if an alien battles a monster with A counters, the monster with A counters loses 300 attack for each A counter on them. So that's... I really don't think it's necessary to play more than 1 of those, but just having the option to lower attack with A counters is nice. Last alien monster I'm playing is 3 copies of Alien Ammonite. This is actually one of the best tuners in the game, to be quite honest. It's kind of a shame that it got put in a not so good archetype. Not to say anything bad about aliens, but they're not meta. This is a fun deck. It could definitely keep up, but it's still just fun. Now, let's just remember his stats, and we'll get to them later, but he's a level 1 light tuner. That is so important. The fact that he's also a reptile means he's searchable by King of the Feral Imps. And the fact that he's an alien, that's just even better. He's also searchable off of a combination device. You almost never want to put him in the graveyard off of it, but the fact that you can is an option. So, you notice my alien engine is actually kind of small with only 7 monsters. But really, this deck doesn't play a lot of monsters anyway. I'm only playing 15 monsters total. So, that's almost half. I definitely still think this is an alien deck. I've seen a lot of people try and do like 3 Shock Trooper, 3 Ammonite, and then comments say, oh, that's not really an alien deck. Well, I beg to differ, since there's not really much other alien things to play. I was originally playing 1 copy of Overlord, and I do like him in the deck, but I don't know, he's kind of a win more card, where if you have your setup going, he's good, but if you don't, he sucks. So I cut him eventually. Since we're playing reptiles, we have 2 copies of Kage to Kage. Rank 4s are nice. Being able to search him off of King of the Feral Imps is better. He's just a very good card in this deck. Speaking of rank 4s, we play 2 copies of Summoner Monk and 1 Rescue Rabbit. The 2 Summoner Monks, their big purpose, I guess, is to get rid of your dead spells, because most of the spells we're playing in here are 3-ofs, simply because we want to see them as fast as we can. But with that said, you're not always going to want to see multiple copies. Therefore, 2 Summoner Monk to help kind of mitigate that. The 1 Rescue Rabbit is because we're playing Shock Trooper at 3. So why would you not play Rescue Rabbit? It's just a free rank 4. Last of the monsters, if you know anything about alien decks, you probably know the Brilliant Fusion engine is insane with them. Therefore, I am playing 2 copies of Gem Knight Lazuli and 1 copy of Performage Trick Clown. Now, this is the only light in the deck that you really want to send off a Brilliant Fusion. The only other light you have is Ammonite. So if you draw this, it does kind of suck. But we do run Emerald to put it back. But the main reason for 2 Lazuli is because if you can't access Emerald, well, it's rough. But no matter what, you need to activate your Brilliant Fusion. So good. Brilliant Fusion adds so much to this deck. It raises your ceiling so immensely. Both with the extra normal summon, getting Performage Trick Clown out for, more summons, more rank 4 stuff. But also, Lazuli, when it's sent, can add your Shock Troopers from your graveyard to your hand to get more plays. It's just such a good combo. That's the end of the monster lineup. On to the spells. 3 copies of A Cell Recombination Device, This is their new card. What it does is, it's a quick play. Target a face-up monster on the field, yours or your opponent's. Send an alien from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, place A counters on that monster equal to the level of the sent monster. So it's pretty much always going to be 4, regardless of if it's Shock Trooper or Telepath. Then it also has the effect of, during your main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 alien from your deck to your hand. That's very, very good. You're almost always going to add Ammonite off of that for free rank 5s. Yeah, this thing, it's not great on paper when you really think about it, but once you see it in action in the deck, it is so insane being able to just get your combos going so fast. Also, let's just note, neither of its effects are once per turn, so if you have multiples, yeah, you can use them all. It's pretty great. Then, since we have a way to consistently bring out A counters now, 3 copies of Mysterious Triangle. I used to play this more like at 1, maybe 2 in alien decks, but being able to consistently get counters through combination device means we can use this a lot more consistently. What it does is destroys a monster on the field with an A counter, and then you special summon a level 4 alien from your deck, and it's destroyed in the end phase. But you're going to use it for an Xyz or a Synchro before then anyway. So this is just such a very, very good card. Getting to destroy something, because if you place the counters on your opponent's monster, you can blow up their monster and summon something from the deck. It's just so good. Then, because, like I mentioned before, playing the Brilliant Fusion engine, 3 Brilliants. Do I need to really say more about these? If you know anything about the engine, you know you need 3. Plain and simple. Now, remember what I said about Alien Ammonite being a level 1 light tuner and how Shock Trooper's a normal monster? Well, that means we can use Mausoleum of White, the new Blue Eyes card. Also playing 2 Terraforming alongside it to see it more often. But yeah, so what it does is it allows you to normal summon 1 level 1 light tuner in addition to your normal summoner set, that being Alien Ammonite. And also, once per turn, you can target a face-up monster you control, send a normal from your hand or deck to the graveyard, cough cough Shock Trooper, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the sent monster times 100. Again, the second effect of that is also not once per turn. So, getting, like, theoretically, you could, like, bounce this with Golgar or activate a second Mausoleum or do whatever and send a second Shock Trooper just to try and get it out of your deck, should you like to do that. You don't always want to do that, because, you know, then your recombination devices could get dead. But, you know, it's having that option is also kind of nice, deck thinning. But yeah, this thing works with aliens so very well. I just love this card in the deck. It's such a very good addition to it. Next up, we're playing 3 copies of MST. I'm only playing this over Twin Twisters mainly just because I don't really like to discard a whole lot of stuff in this deck. Because if you're able to discard something, it means you've got your board already set up, and that kind of goes against what MST, you know, or like what MST and Twin Twisters want to do, because you need every card you can, like you can get in your hand to really make your plays as explosive as you can in this deck. Discards, although they are there, are not that, like, you really need your entire hand. Even if you've got like a dead Shock Trooper in your hand, that's still a level 4 monster for a rank 4. So I mean, it's hard to commit to discarding in this deck in my opinion, so I'm only playing 3 MST. And then I'm playing 2 copies of Instant Fusion because, you know, spamming is really nice. I'm only playing 2 because if you play 3, it means, you know, you're assuming you always have your grade set up. But if you don't, then, you know, Instant Fusion is dead, and so is the rest of the deck. So you don't really want to play it at 3 in my opinion, because, you know, if you're falling behind and you can't play the rest of your deck, Instant Fusion isn't going to help you out of that. And last spell I'm playing is 1 Upstart Goblin, because, you know, aliens want consistency. It's not there very much. So, you know, Upstart. Traps. 3 Call the Haunted. 3 Fiendish Chain. If you're familiar with your Synchro monster, he can bounce spell or traps that are face up to the hand once a turn, and then place A counters on the board and destroy stuff with that. But let's just remember, you bounce things, return them to the hand to be used again. Does this not seem reminiscent of Teller Knights? Because that's the kind of vibe I'm getting off of this. Yeah. Being able to reuse Call of the Hunteds and Fiendish Chains are very, very good. I'm not a huge fan of Fiendish Chain in this meta, but my god, is being able to use one copy 2 or 3 times. That definitely makes it worth playing. Synchros. 1 Cosmic Fortress Golgar, the Alien Synchro. Yeah, he's just really good. Bounce stuff, then place A counters. Remove 2 A counters from the board once a turn to destroy a card your opponent controls. That's a pretty good card. Yeah, so I do like him. Then the other level 5 we're playing is 1 Armades. Matchup determinant, I guess. But most things in this day and age do float. So being able to have access to Armades with 1 card is very nice. 1 Coral Dragon. You mainly make this with Ammonite and the Seraphonite. Although you can make it with like an Armades or a Golgar. I just like having the spot removal, honestly. Last synchro we're playing is 1 Trishula. You make it with Ammonite and 2 level 4s. Yeah, it's... The fact that you have access to Trishula and aliens is hilarious. So, yeah, you gotta play it. I mean, it's just so good in here. Plus, you're essentially only using 2 monsters at most to make it, because Ammonite is, supplies itself and the one from the graveyard. So if you have 1 other level 4, you can make this. It's pretty good. Now, you could play Excel Synchron and then make Ultimate Zulkin and do all that stuff. But I don't have Crystal Wings, so it doesn't really make much sense for me to do that, because the whole point of that is to make a first turn board. So I'm not playing that engine. Next, for the Xyzes. 1 King of the Feral Imps. Searching reptiles is cool. Searching reptiles in a reptile deck is best. We have 9 targets for it in our deck, so it's pretty good. 1 Castell. Spot removal. Same goes for the 1 Diamond Direwolf. Gagaga Samurai. I found that this deck really doesn't want to make tons of reactive plays. It rather, when it wants to go for a game, it wants to go hard, and it has a bunch of resources to do it. So I put in Gagaga Samurai to help try and, push for game harder. Then I'm playing 1 Daigusto Emerald. This is really good in decks to play the Brilliant Fusion engine. It's really good in decks that, have tons of search power, but with like limited monsters, like heroes, things like that. So putting back your Shock Troopers and Ammonites and Telepaths to be used for later searches and all is pretty good. And it's even better when you capitalize on it with the fact that you do play normal monsters for its second effect. Daigusto Emerald is so very good in this. That's it. 1 Abyss Dweller. Do I need to say more? It's a rank 4 toolbox. You gotta have Dweller. Plus, since we do play Norden, you can make it have boosted attack power, and it can also theoretically boost the attack of these guys. Has it come up very often for me? No, it's only came up once or twice, but I mean, it's there. So, now, that's it really for the rank 4 toolbox. The last of the rank 4s plus rank 5, well, you already probably know by now. The Utopia trio, being Utopia, Utopia Prime, and Utopia the Lightning. Just so good. So. Fusions, 1 Norden, instant fusion. Need I say more? And 1 Gemknight Seraphonite. So this thing getting your extra normal summon is so good. One thing I will note, though. If you have this, if you have Mausoleum of White and Seraphonite on the field at the same time, you unfortunately do not get 3 normal summons. You can only get 1 normal summon in addition to your normal summoner set. So, yeah, it's kind of like the ruling where if you've normal summoned and you try and activate 2 copies of double summon, it won't work. Ultimate Offering is the only thing I can think of that gets around it. But yeah, so unfortunately, these two do kind of like conflict, I guess, in that sense. But as long as you have 1 of them, your ceiling is pushed so high, it really doesn't matter. Because you're going to have so much advantage built off of that you're probably going to win, or if not win, then you're probably going up against meta. but you're going to put up a fair fight. So, that's going to do it for this deck, guys. As I said, aliens may not be the greatest deck out there. They're definitely not meta, but my god, can they compete with it. I had no real expectations for it, but I've been playing a lot online with it, and my results have been surprisingly good. I mean, I don't know, I didn't expect them to be this good, but it's pretty insane what this deck can do. If you guys would like any kind of combo tutorials or anything like that, I'd be more than willing to show off what this deck can do. Fortunately, DevPro is still like not wanting to record on my screen, so I can't really do that. But I'd be more than willing to show some IRL, combo tutorials for this. Anyway, guys, make sure to leave me a comment about what you guys want to see more from me in the future. As always, like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in my next video.